Mathematicians. This is Miss Johnson, and today we are going to be subtracting fractions. Make sure that you put your title and you add your date to your notes. Okay, our first step when we are subtracting fractions is to find that common denominator. So let's say that we have 8 and 5/6, and we want to subtract, let's say 3 and 2/3. So our denominators are different. We have a 6 and we have a 3. So we need to get a denominator that's the same so that we can subtract them. So we do that by looking at our multiples. So we say 6, 12, 18, 3, 6. I can stop because I see that I have a 6 that's the same. So my new denominator is going to be 6. Now here, this denominator is the same, right? So that means that my numerator will also be the same. I don't have to switch it. Now some kids really need that procedure of that multiplying. So if you need to say 6 times 1 is 6 and 5 times 1 is 5, go ahead and do that. But know that it's going to be the same because our denominator is not changing. Now, the 2/3, our denominator is changing, so we have to say 3 times what gives me 6. So 3 times 2 is 6, and whatever I multiply the bottom by, I'm going to multiply the top by. So 2 times 2 is 4. And that step was the second step. That was creating the like fractions by multiplying the numerator and denominator by the same number. Now we need to determine if we need to borrow in order to subtract the fractions. So we do that by looking at the numerators. I have 5/6 and 4/6. So can I say 5/6 minus 4/6? Yeah, if we have 5/6, we can subtract 4/6. So we're going to go ahead and subtract that. And 5/6 minus 4/6 is 1/6. So we determined if we needed to subtract. We didn't need to borrow, so we just subtracted the numerators. So our next step is to subtract the whole number. So 8 minus 3 is 5. And the last step is to simplify the fraction if necessary. So I look at 1/6 and I see that the numerator and the denominator do not have a factor that can go into both. So it is simplified. So our answer is 5 and 1/6. Okay, so that was an example where we don't have to borrow. I do want us to do a few examples where we do have to borrow. Okay, and I'm going to kind of give a picture example with this one, okay? So let's say that I had 4 candy bars and my friends and I ate 1 and 2/3 of those candy bars. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a little picture here. 4 candy bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm trying to make them about the same size. Okay, because, when we're dealing with fractions, they should be the same size. Now I'm going to take away 1 and 2/3. But when we look at our picture over here, there are no thirds there. So how can we take thirds away? Well, we have to make the thirds. Okay, so I'm taking one whole candy bar and I'm breaking it up into 1/3, 2/3, and then 3/3. Right? So I took a whole and I broke it into 3 pieces because I needed thirds to be able to take away. All right, so now I can I have 2/3 I can take away, so I can take that away. And that's going to leave me with that 1/3. And then I can also take away that 1 candy bar because we're taking away 1 and 2/3. And that's going to leave me with 1, 2, and 1/3. So there's 2 and 1/3 candy bars left. All right, so let's go over here to our numbers over here and let's do to our numbers what we did with the picture. All right, so we had 4 holes. We took the 4 holes. We took one of the holes. So I said 4 minus 1 is 3. We took one of the wholes and we broke it up into 3/3. And then after we broke that up into 3/3, we can take 2/3 away from 3/3 now. So that gives us 1/3. And then 3 minus 1 is 2. So we have 2 and 1/3, which is exactly what we had in our picture. Okay? All right, let's do one more practice like that. All right, so let's say that we have, we'll just use the candy bar example again, right? So let's say that we have, this time though, let's say that we have 4 and 1/4 candy bars, and we want to take away 1 and 3/4. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Now watch how I'm going to do the 1/4. So that's 4 holes, and then I'm just going to that, and then I'm going to put dots for the rest because the rest is not really there, right? Because we only have 1/4. All right, so but we can see like this would be the 1/4. This one would be 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, right? But those aren't there, so we're going to dot it. All right, so we have 4 and 1/4 minus 1 and 3/4. Well, when you see from our picture, right, I only have 1/4. So I cannot take away 3/4. So I need to get some more fourths, right? I need to get some more fourths. Well, where do I get the fourths from? Well, I get them from one of the holes. So we're borrowing one of the holes, and we're taking one of the holes and we're breaking it up into 4/4. We're breaking it up into 4/4. So we have 3 holes here, we have 4/4 here, and we have the 1/4 here. So from our picture, we see that we're going to have 3 holes, and then we add these together to get 5/4. So we're going to have 3 holes and 5/4, right? Okay, let's see how that works over here with our numbers. Okay, so we can't say 1/4 minus 3/4, so we borrow from the 4, and we make that a 3. The hole that we borrowed there, we need more fourths, so we're going to break it up into 4/4, and that's going to give us 3 holes, and then 1/4 plus 4/4 is going to give us 5/4, and then we can take away the 1 and 3/4. Okay, do you see that? All right, so do you see how that works with the picture, right? So if we come back over to the picture and we want to take away the 3/4, I can take away this. That's 1, 2, 3. So those go away. And then take away the hole. So that would go away. So I'm left with 1, 2, and then 2/4. So when we come back to our numbers, right, I say 5/4 minus 3/4 is 2/4, and 3 minus 1 is 1. Okay, our last step is to see if we can simplify. So we look at our value and we say, okay, is there a number that can go into 2 and 4 and so that there won't be a remainder, a factor? Yes, there is a factor. It's 2. So I say 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So our value is going to be 1 and a half. Except, nobody told me this is not a 1. If we were in class, y'all all would have said, Miss Johnson, you made a mistake. So 3 minus 1 is not 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. Just like our picture over here, right? We have 1, 2 left, right? So that is, that's how you borrow. Now, most of the time, though, we have to find a common denominator first. So this denominator was the same. That just made it easier for me to draw that picture. So that's why I kept it the same. But most of the time, you are going to have to find a common denominator first. So we're going to do one more example where we're going to have to borrow and find a common denominator. Okay, so this will be our third example. right? So let's say that we have, since I'm not going to draw a picture of this one, let's say that we have 10 and a half, and we want to take away 3 and, let's say, 5/6. Okay, so our first step is going to be to find the common denominator, and our common denominator in this case will be 6. So I'm going to say 2 times what gives me 6? 2 times 3 is 6. Whatever I multiply the denominator by, I have to multiply the numerator by. So 1 times 3 is 3. My denominator is going to stay the same here, so that means my numerator will also be the same. But remember, if you, oops, sorry about that. Remember, if you need to do your times 1 times 1, you can go ahead and do that, right? All right, so I look and I say, okay, so if I have 3/6, can I take away 5/6? So if you only have 3, can you take away 5? No, you have to borrow. So we're going to come to the 10. We're going to take a whole from the 10. So 1 whole away will give us 9 left over here. That whole that we borrowed, we're going to change it to 6/6. That's 6 over 6 equals 1, right? Because we need more sixths. We only have 3. And we need to take away 5, so we need more sixths. So we're going to change it to 6/6. So that's going to give us 9 wholes. And 3 plus 6 is 9/6. Now we can take away our 3 and 5/6. Okay? Some kids want to say, but Miss Johnson, that's improper. We can't have improper. Well, we're going to use improper fractions quite a lot, actually, when we're doing our computation for fractions. Our end result, our answer, can't be left as improper, but while we're doing math work with our fractions, it can be improper. Okay, so we're going to say 9/6 minus 5/6, so 9 minus 5 is 4. Whoops. Try that again. So 9/6 minus 5/6 is 4/6. And then 9 minus 3 is 6. Our last step is to see if we can simplify. So we look at the 4/6 and we say, is there a factor that can go into 4 and 6? And there is. It's 2. So we say 4 divided by 2 is 2. And 6 divided by 2 is 3. So that means our answer is going to be 6 and 2/3. Okay, so that is our reviewing of subtracting fractions. I'm hoping that you took all of these notes. All right, make sure that you wrote all of the procedure down of how you solve it, and make sure that you wrote down the examples. Okay, so you can go back and rewatch the video. Let me go ahead and put a 1 here. This was our example 1. This was our example 2. This was example 3. Oh, this was example 4. I put that wrong. So make sure that you've written all the examples down in your notebook so you can pause the video and go back and rewatch it. Just make sure you have all these notes down. Okay? And subtracting fractions, that's how you do it.